The following production is produced by the State University of New York College at Oneonta.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Red Dragon Sports. I'm your host, Geoff Hassard, Assistant Director of Athletics and Sports Information Director here at the college. And it's hard to believe that we're at the end of another season of shows here as we close out 2010-11 with softball. So please join me after the break, and I'll be joined by head coach Liz Wagner.
WUOW 104.7 FM is the region's premier radio station, offering award-winning programming from National Public Radio and Pacifica Radio networks, giving you the chance to become more informed about the arts, information, and entertainment from around the country and around the world. WUOW is your community radio station. Join us and support the sound.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now is head softball coach Liz Wagner. Welcome back to the show, Liz.
Thank you, Geoff.
How are things going so far?
So far, pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good. Right now, we're sitting at 14-11. We're just struggling to get our games in, so we're just happy when we get to play.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of rain and a lot of standing water out there.
It's been pretty brutal softball, it's weather-wise, not
Yes.
record or how we're doing, but
Yes.
the weather has not cooperated this
Yeah.
spring, which in the Northeast we can't expect too much more, right?
No, we expect it every year, and we've had worse years weather-wise, so we're dealing with it. But
now it seems crazy. A month ago, we were 5 or 6 weeks ago, we were in Arizona. The temperatures were like 90 degrees.
We were.
They actually had above average temperatures while we were out there, and certainly that was a pretty good trip for us. Why don't you talk a little bit about the trip itself and the importance of being able to go on trips like that with the team?
Okay. Well, each year we just talked about weather a little bit, so it's really difficult because we have a maximum of 40 games in Division III for softball. So, we like to take advantage and get in most of those games. It just makes us stronger. It gives us, just a bigger pool of teams with different strengths to play against. So it prepares us when we get into the conference championships. So, it's literally impossible for us to get in 40 games in the Northeast. Right. It's absolutely impossible. So we typically go down and play anywhere from 8 to 12 games in either Florida or Arizona. And this year it was great, and we were lucky enough to have you with us. So I know the girls enjoyed that. But this year was great. We played some ranked teams, top 25 teams, and it was just a really good experience. We came back 6-5. Had a couple crazy injuries while we were down there that may or may not have affected the outcome of a couple of the games. So, but it's it's good. It gives us a chance to see some other kids and
right,
let other kids step up.
Right, because out there, you have a chance for everyone to really play, get a chance to look at them in game situations,
right,
and see how they've done, because of course we can only practice indoors before
right.
we go out there. So the trip out to Arizona, you said each year, every other year you alternate, and we either go to Florida or Arizona. How important are those trips, not just to play games, but just for your program and helping you, during the recruiting process of being able to attract
well, I think it's huge for recruiting. When they hear that we actually go to Arizona every other year, or California, we might try one year, or Texas. It's basically my promise to every kid coming in as a freshman. They'll get to go to Florida twice and West Coast twice, and we've been successful in getting out there, with budget and fundraising. So it's been really good. But I think it's also really important for the current team. The team bonding is incredible. When they go out, they have just such a good time, and they make friendships that with kids that they're rooming with, or just they end up being best buddies with somebody that is maybe 3 years ahead of them or behind them, and it's really interesting to see the different kind of bonds that are formed
right.
Off the field, and I think it helps with our team chemistry a ton.
Now, of course, we're going to have 2 seniors on tonight to talk a little bit about that. How important is it for them in a trip situation like that to be, I guess you'd say, leaders and kind of get the rest of them to kind of
I think it's really helpful. This year we've got 6 graduating. 4 of them are actually seniors, and 2 are juniors graduating early, and 1 going to FIT. So we've got a lot of leadership, and then on top of that, almost half a dozen juniors. So we're really lucky this year in that we don't have to worry about the little things as much. And they're really great at relaying information, telling the girls what to expect, just making sure people are on time and ready, and just the little things that sometimes are difficult, because they take the coaching attention away from what we really should be focusing on, and that's teaching the girls to be better student athletes and win games.
Right.
That's
now,
what we want to
with
really
the
do.
Division III philosophy, now you were a Division I athlete yourself. How do you see, I think maybe we might have talked a little bit about last year, but being in Division III, what are some of the values of being in Division III and being able to coach in Division III?
I really enjoy, and I think I talked a little bit about this last year as well, but I really enjoy just how Division III athletes are it's really stressed to them to be well-rounded individuals, with community service, really focusing on academics, all kinds of things, much more fundraising than I ever had an opportunity to do in college. And, it seems daunting, but I think it teaches them a lot. Just as they're entering the real world, it teaches them a lot about time management, or just about working with other people.
Now, do you think those are for their resumes? Being
I think
a
it's
student
great.
athlete, what kinds of things do you think they'll be able to put on their resume?
I think my players' resumes are so much more complete. Mine was non-existent when I graduated. I barely had a resume. And I think it's just great that they graduate with all kinds of things to put on there, being involved in other on-campus activities, being involved in community service, working with little children. We have so many education majors on our team, and Stacy and Katie that are here tonight are both education majors. So I think it's going to help them tremendously when getting out
Now, what
into the
kinds of
world.
things do you do community service-wise? Because it is important for us.
We do quite a bit. We do, one of our favorites every year is the Boys and Girls Club right here in Oneonta. They have an annual Halloween party, and we always go down and run the games with them, and hand out the candy. And some years they've even taken part in the judging of the costume contest. So it's they really love it because they go down and get to be the goalie when the kids are shooting on them. I think Katie, who's here tonight, almost got killed by one of the little kids standing in goal this year. It's just they have a lot of fun, and the girls dress up too.
Right.
So they have just as much fun dressing up as the kids some years. And then we do the Thanksgiving project, the Thanksgiving baskets, and the girls usually bake pies. They actually bake homemade pies to go with it. And John Speranzi, our assistant coach, always donates a turkey every year, and we set up a family that's in need with a Thanksgiving. Amongst migrant workers,
Right.
the holiday program, amongst we do the kidney walk.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things.
Full plate.
Yeah.
Now, just to talk a little bit about, you mentioned John Speranzi. Now, John's been with the program for over 20 years
22.
now.
I think it's his 22nd season.
And he's grew up in Oneonta. He knows the area. How important is it to have someone that's been with the program that long for you? Because, of course, you came here, and you grew up in nearby, Sydney or whatever, so you knew about us, but
Right.
not really a lot. How important is that for you to be and have him?
I think what we call him Speranzi. I mean, for those of you watching that don't know, but I think Speranz brings just a ton of stability and loyalty to the program. I think year after year, I can honestly look at recruits and be like, you're going to have Speranz and I here. You don't know what's going to happen, but we can almost say neither of us are planning on going anywhere. Very few programs can actually guarantee that or even insinuate that
Right.
safely
Right.
and feel good about it. So I think that's a huge thing. It's a huge thing. He's almost like a father away from home to many of the girls. I know that the dads of our current players just love to know that Speranzi's around if they get a flat tire, if, God forbid, none of them would ever speed, but they've called him they get a speeding ticket because Speranzi, I don't know what to do. They look to him for everything. They get sick, he can help. He's just here. He's always here, and it's great. And that doesn't even touch what he knows about the game and what he brings
Right, 'cause of course
to the game of softball. That
he plays locally in the men's leagues and has played forever, and quite an accomplished pitcher, as we
Yes.
hear the tales of Speranzi.
I think he's so good right now. They don't let him pitch. They think he's illegal, or he struggles with being called illegal. So
Yeah. Now during the recruiting process, recruiting for softball is kind of, I would say, probably a little different because during your season you're playing games and
Right.
you don't really get to go see a lot of these high school kids play games because your schedules just don't match up. So a
Right.
lot of your recruiting takes place like during the summer.
yeah, I'd say 95% of it's during the summer.
Yeah. And you go to tournaments. And,
Yep, there's showcases now. There are combines basically.
Wow.
There's combines, showcases, tournaments, round robin play. And it's, they're actually called college showcases, and the girls have numbers on their back. They line them up almost like a cattle call, and it's great for us. I feel bad for the girls. Sometimes there's a lot of pressure on them, but we get to see a tremendous amount of talent in a very short period of time. And usually it goes from Thursday to Sunday. Whether all the coaches stay that long, but it's really a full-time job in the summer to just get out there and really see as many kids as you can see and get live evaluations.
Now, are these all in the local area? I mean, where do you travel?
Nope, I spend most of my time actually in Pennsylvania because it's where the biggest and most well-run tournaments are. Although there are a lot in Binghamton down at Bag's Eye. The Binghamton Area Girls Softball Association Incorporated does a great job, and they have some of the NFCA, National Fast Pitch Coaches Association sponsored showcases down there. So that's really great because it's only an hour away. But I spend a lot of time down in the Quakertown area, down in PA, and it's just there's a lot of great talent. And the Long Island teams and the Buffalo teams and the Rochester teams are all down there.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of a melting pot of a ton of New York teams with a couple of Pennsylvania and New Jersey mixed in.
Wow.
So
it's a lot of players.
I can see 50 different teams in a 3 or 4 day period sometimes.
Wow. So. Now, when you're involved in the recruiting process, are your players involved in the process as well?
They definitely are. When we get to the point where we want to bring a prospective student athlete to campus, absolutely, they're very involved. We have student hosts on our overnights, and our entire team that is the on-campus kids, they are at every meal with the recruits. So I think it really helps, and parents seem to be quite impressed by that. And we just enjoy letting a student athlete get to know our girls intimately, to see how goofy they are off the field and see whether they could fit in that setting. I think is really important, so they can see them as real people and
right. So they enjoy that.
Picture
as well,
themselves
just,
with them.
Because of course it's their team, their program, and they want to make sure.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like to say it that way, but they just want to make sure that it's in good hands when they kind of graduate and leave the program and know that.
Absolutely. Well, and they care about who's coming in.
Yeah.
And I always say, if you really like a kid, or if you really someone rubs you the wrong way, or there's something you just don't think she's going to mesh, or just let us know as coaches.
Right.
So they're very important. We certainly take their opinions.
Right.
We take them into consideration very much so when we're making our final decisions on who to really go after. So
now turning a little bit to this year, we're in the last third of the season. We have the SUNY tournament, coming up in a couple weeks. Now because of course we still have plenty of SUNY games to play. We're kind of in the middle right now. We're in the top 6, which we have been. I mean, we're in the middle of another winning season. Why don't you talk a little bit about some of the players that we have now? We have a nucleus of new players that have come in and impacted our program. Yeah.
4 freshmen, 1 transfer, and 1 sophomore.
First, the 4 freshmen.
Okay. We've actually got 4 freshmen that have all started games at one point or another, which is really nice. I looked out on the field once, and I believe all 4 of them were out there, including our freshman pitcher. We've got Carrie Leggett from Shenendehowa, which I've been trying to get a Shenendehowa kid since I got here, so this is great. She's a 5'9" right-handed pitcher.
Who didn't pitch as a senior.
Did not pitch as a senior. She was behind a couple Division I prospects, from what I hear, and she played center field for them, ironically. So she's been doing a great job for us. She's got her her struggles and her ups and downs, but when she's on, she's just tremendous. She closed out a game against Kings the other day that we won in the bottom of the 7th inning, and she looked like a senior pitcher out there. It was incredible to watch her tenacity. It was great, and we were playing in almost darkness. So she was just she can be really impressive and throws hard, but with more movement than probably any pitcher I've coached at this school. So she's going to be huge for us.
That's good. And who else?
We've got
leadoff hitter.
Yeah, we've got Trisha Kenziera. And Trish she's just a little fireball. We're getting so much more than we expected out of her. She was a late recruit. It wasn't somebody I went after at all. She basically told me that she's into O State and she'd like me to view her video. And I was like, she's pretty good. I think we should probably invite her to tryouts. And then we see her tryouts in person, and we're like, wow, she's really good. She's got great hands. She's fast. She's she's got all the tools. So the best thing about Trish is she can play a lot of different positions. She can play shortstop, second base, right field, left field, probably center field next year in a pinch if no one stands up and takes hold of that position. So she's very versatile and just brings a lot of fire to our program.
Now, and how have they? It seems like they've meshed pretty well with the upperclassmen and
because then we've got Laura Loudis, Chandler Campbell, who have both
contributed,
been contributing, been starting here and there and splitting some time. Chandler's been splitting some time at second base, and Laura Loudis has been splitting with Corinne DeTulli at first base and doing a really great job. She's our only lefty on the team, and she's a true lefty that hits away, and she's very strong, and she's probably got one of the best work ethics on the team. She's does not act like a freshman, and I think that's one of the biggest things that she brings to us this year.
Which I think probably with this team, with those newcomers this year, I think that's maybe what you would notice if you've come to see us over the last few years. You would notice that that the newcomers don't really look new. Like they look like veterans, and they play like veterans, which I think for us, with kids that we needed to fill some holes this year, I think you probably were.
Well, I think part of that is due to their upperclassmen. I think sometimes it's intimidating for some upperclassmen on some programs. Oh, there's all these stars coming in, and they're a lot of talent. They're really good, but I think the upperclassmen this year in the upper half of our team has really embraced the freshmen, and they know and value how good they are. So I think that they don't feel like, oh, you're a little rookie, you're a little freshman. I don't think they feel that way necessarily. So I think that that's really helped to give them the confidence they need to go out there. I think that's kind of a feather in the hat of our upperclassmen.
Right, too. Which is important as we kind of get into that time of the year when we try and push for an NCAA tournament berth, because that goes to the winner of our championship, and we've played all the team stuff that we've played so far. And again, we have like the last half, I guess you'd say, of those games. So we certainly want to thank you for coming by, and we wish you good luck the rest of the way, and hopefully we'll be playing into mid-May.
Yes.
All right, well, thanks for coming by.
Thank you, Geoff.
I'd like to thank head softball coach Liz Wagner for coming by this evening, and after the break, I'll be joined by one of our senior captains, Katie Hackenberg.
Once you post your image online, you can't take it back. Anyone can see it. Family, friends, anyone. Remember, think before you post.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now is senior softball captain Katie Hackenberg. Welcome to the show, Katie.
Hi, thank you.
Actually known as Hack for everybody out there. So
yes.
Having a great year.
Yes.
You were hitting 500 for most of it now, and it's just a little. You've just fallen a little bit. I think you're still hitting like 485. What do you explain for that for this year? What's going right?
Well, I worked a lot over the summer and this winter with my hitting coach, Steve Schultz, who I give a lot of credit to. I wish I went to him my freshman year, because since I've gone to him, I've only gone up from here. So over the winter, I went at least 3 times a week, and it's really paid off. And wow. I thank him a lot for getting me to where I am now. Yeah,
well, I would say it's paying off. I mean, it's just tremendous. I mean, you look every time you're up at bat, you feel like something good's going to happen. I mean, watching you. I mean, I had a chance to watch you for 11 games out in Arizona, and it was, you're just hitting the ball hard. I mean, not just hitting the ball, but hitting the ball hard somewhere. What kind of drills do you do, or did he have you do, that would allow you to be able to make kind of that contact?
Well, we just worked on a lot of hitting the ball more out in front of me and driving my hip and elbow towards the ball, and just a lot more hip into it. So we just did a lot of drills with soft toss, a ton of tee work every day. I have a tee in my garage and in my basement. So anytime my dad would just have me get on the tee, and my dad always told me that the tee work will pay off. And I used to not like hitting off the tee when I was younger, but I love it now, because now I know if I feel something off in my stance or my swing, I just get back on the tee and I keep doing reps after reps. So
right. Well, it seems like when you think about it, it doesn't cost you anything. You buy a tee, have a bucket of balls. It's something you can do by yourself. And like you said, I mean, once you learn kind of the mechanics of it, you can feel like if you're off balance or you're not getting your hips through. So certainly, I mean, it's tremendous. So certainly hope that continues the last few weeks here as we go along. Senior major, where are you from?
I'm from Queensbury, New York.
Queensbury, New York, which is up north of Albany, right?
Yes, now we're north of Albany.
Okay, and what's your major?
I am an adolescent education and Spanish major. Spanish major,
okay. So you want to teach Spanish?
High school Spanish.
Okay. What have you done your student teaching and all that yet, or?
I have not. I was supposed to student teach this semester, actually, in the spring. That's how our program for education goes here at Oneonta. And our last game at SUNY, I knew that I wanted to play my 4th year.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the plan from when I started. I was only going to play 3 years and then student teach my senior spring semester. But after playing 3 years and just my family, I couldn't leave them, and I decided no regrets, let's play my last year, and I'll put student teaching off for the next semester, and it works out. I'll go home next semester in the fall, and I'll student teach then.
Yep.
But
And you'll graduate in December.
And I'll graduate in December, and it's well worth it.
Right. Well, because last year you were all-conference, all-region player for us. What did that feel like for yourself? I mean, an individual accomplishment. It's a team sport, but you know, yourself, I mean, how excited were you to reach those kinds of accolades? I
mean, it felt good. It's always nice to excel year after year and continuously try to get better than your last year, but it all matters on how we do as a team. I mean, in the end, if I'm first team All-American and we don't win, that doesn't really mean a whole lot to me. Right. As a team, it's all about accomplishment together. So.
Right. Now, this year's team, we're doing pretty well. We've got some good freshmen. We talked to Coach Wagner about some of the new players. What's your take on, as a team leader, you're one of our team captains, what's your take on this year's team and how we're doing?
I think this year's team, we have great chemistry, and our freshmen this year and transfer have really stepped up. I really don't look at any of them as a freshman. They all get on the field and they're ready to play, and whether they're on the field or on the bench, they're also clutch. They'll come in at any time of the game and be ready to play, and I have full respect for them, and it really shows on the field, their work ethic, and these girls are going to be great when they're seniors especially.
Right. Now, what's it meant for you to be able to be a student athlete in Division III and here at Oneonta?
Amazing. I love it. I have time to excel in the classroom, and I work really hard to do well there, and I have time to spend with my friends and family and play sports, so it can't get any better than that, to have time to do everything.
And what's your one thing, was there a memorable moment that you've had up to now that you might point to?
That's tough with everything that I've gone through the past 4 years, but I guess my most memorable moments are on the softball field, because that's my family right here in Oneonta, are the 16 girls and Speranzi and Coach. Like, that's who I go to when I'm in need of anything. So I would say on the softball field is my most memorable moment here.
Well, we certainly hope there are some coming up, because we have a third of our season, and we got some important games coming up, and of course the SUNY tournament. So we wish you good luck the rest of the way, and stay healthy, and hopefully you'll be playing a few more games after the SUNY tournament.
I hope so. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank Katie Hackenberg for coming by tonight, and after the break I'll be joined by one of our other senior captains, Stacy Donald.
What makes D3 special is the ability to participate in my team and within the broader community.
The perfect ending to a perfect season.
Being a D3 student athlete has completely expanded my life.
I learned how to lead. I really found a voice.
What time is it?
It's more about the experience rather than just a sport itself.
Without the experience of being a Division III student athlete, I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
NCAA Division III. Discover, develop, dedicate.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now is senior softball captain Stacy Donald. Welcome to the show, Stacy.
Thanks, Geoff.
How are things going?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Saugerties.
Saugerties, New York?
Yeah, it's
Where's
near Kingston, Woodstock.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, nobody knows where it is.
Kind of tucked away.
Yeah.
And what's your major?
Childhood education and Spanish.
So we've had two on this evening.
Yeah, Spanish.
And do you want to be a high school Spanish teacher? Or
no, elementary.
Elementary.
Yeah, I just really like Spanish.
Oh, okay. What? Any difference? So that would be what? Middle school or?
1 through 6.
1 through 6?
Yeah.
Are they teaching Spanish grades 1 through 6 right now?
No, I don't think so.
I know my son is taking French, but he didn't start until he was in 7th grade.
Oh yeah, that's when it usually starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How important is that to have learn another language?
I think it's really important. Yeah, but like
Why Spanish?
A lot of people in my town, like there was a lot of like Spanish-speaking people moving in, and I was like, yeah, might as well learn some Spanish. Yeah. It'll help me later. So.
Well, in today's global world, though,
I
mean, to learn. I mean, when I was growing up, you actually had to have a language to get into college. So we started at like 4th grade, like you said. We were back in 4th grade. We started, and I took French for like 3 years, but then when I got to middle school, I didn't like it anymore. So I kind of gave it up. I mean, I didn't need it to get into college, but in
I think we
today's
have
world,
to take some classes of Spanish or foreign language. But
So season, we're into the latter half of our season.
Good word.
Yeah, we're how do you see us standing right now as we enter?
Really good, actually. I think we should blow past the rest of the competition we got in SUNY X, and I think we'll do very well in SUNY X. We're definitely holding our own with all the competition, and I think we can definitely.
We seem to be. We seem to have. I guess maybe we talked to Coach Wagner about the multiple positions and being able to we have some players who can play in different spots.
Yeah.
How important do you think that is for us to to say, hey Trish, she is our right fielder, but hey, can you go play shortstop if somebody got hurt, if Jillian or somebody like that? I mean, how important is that to have those?
I think that it's really, really important because it gives coach a lot of flexibility, and it gives everybody you have a lot of confidence in those players, and you know that they can play this position and that position, and it's not like they have to just throw somebody in a different position. They're like, oh, this person got hurt, throw this person in there, get used to it really fast. No, now we have so much depth at every position, and it's really, really good.
Now, you've been with our program for 4 years. How have you seen the progression, and what were the expectations that you had maybe of some of the newcomers for our team this year, and have they exceeded those expectations?
Oh, they definitely have exceeded it. Just practicing with them in the fall, now it's a whole different game. They're so much better, and everybody's improving, and they're pushing themselves, and it's really great to see. We do this thing every year where we write down things about each player, and we give them to them to it's like team building or something. But on every single one of our freshmen, I told them that they're going to do great things here, and I can see it now. They're going to do so much for this program, so it's really good to have them here.
Now, we talked with Coach Wagner about being involved in the recruiting process. Did any of them, were you involved in any of their campus visits?
I met them all. I definitely met them all, and I think we have so many recruits. I definitely met them. I know that. We hung out with all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
How important is that for you to be involved in that?
I think it's really important because they need to meet the team and know how they're going to be with the team. And
now, as we now in our program, very important stuff that we talk about. Maybe I'll talk about a little bit with you is the community service side of it.
Yeah.
How important is it to be involved in community service?
I think it's really important to give back to the community because there's college students all over town, and I know that we can get a bad rap with the player or with the community and stuff. But definitely giving back to them. They see that there's good college students out there, so I think it's really important to show that we're not all just regular college students.
Right, because you're right. We need to be a community builder with our community leaders, and I think they see that as something valuable as a service that our college students would do that. What's it been like for you to be a student athlete in Division III and here at Oneonta?
I really love it. I specifically chose this school because of their great education program, and I thought it was amazing that I could come play softball. And it's just been a great experience for me all 4 years. So.
Yeah. Now, speaking of someone you've played a few different positions for us. I mean, this year you're our starting left fielder, and for those you got to come out and see her because she'll go for any ball. There's no ball safe because you will dive. We saw you run over a fence in Arizona.
Yeah.
You're diving for balls. That's the kind of effort that you play with. But what's it been like to be able to contribute to our program in many different positions?
It's really great to know that Coach trusts me in all these different positions, and everybody's got my back, and they know that I can play. And I don't know, it's great how supportive the team is.
Right, and you're also having a solid offensive season for us, driving in runs out of the. Now you're kind of in the number 2 spot for us now, right?
It depends on the game.
That's what I thought, but you're contributing with our order in the top mostly recently. Is there a difference hitting in different spots in the order for you?
For me, there is. Yeah, it's not that there's a much difference with the pitching or anything like that. It's the pressure I put on myself.
Right.
When I'm hitting down in the lineup, I'm I don't put as much pressure on myself. But when I'm hitting higher up, and I'm oh, I've really got to get a hit. I really got to get a hit. But I try not to focus on that as much anymore. Definitely when my past couple of years, if I was like higher up in the lineup, I'd put so much pressure on myself. And this year it's more like just get a hit and do what I can. And
right, because you have other players who can.
Yeah, I know that like it's not all on me, and I've been trusting my players a whole lot more.
Right.
So.
Now, and of course, I mean, if you look at our statistics, I mean, average-wise, our team batting average is up this year. Our fielding percentage is better than it has been. What would you attribute any of that to?
Just our players.
Yeah.
We work hard, and we're just giving it our all every day.
Right. Now, do you have a memorable moment as a member of our program or at the college that you might point to as you
It's
move
hard
on?
to pick,
Yeah.
like just one. I don't know. Definitely playing softball is most of my memories here.
And the trips and all that.
Yeah,
going to Florida and
everything.
Arizona.
Yeah, everything.
Well, we certainly want to wish you good luck as you close out the
thank you.
end of the season, and we certainly know that we will definitely contend in the SUNY tournament and knock that team from Cortland off. Or so
can't wait.
Yeah, hopefully it will happen. So thanks for coming by tonight.
Thank you.
All right, and I'd like to thank you all for joining me this evening, talking with our softball coach and players, senior captains. And we'd like to say, hey, this is the end of another year for us here, and certainly hoped you enjoyed all of our episodes for the 2010-11 year, and we hope that you'll come back and join us in the fall as we have season number 3. And always, please check our website for the latest scores and news at www.oneontaathletics.com. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you in the fall.